Hi there, I'm Rebecca Claypool, and I'm going to share some home gardening tips today with you. I used to own a farm in southern Wisconsin. It was a small diversified vegetable farm, and now I work for the USDA, working to ensure the integrity of organic products around the world. Since moving to my more urban environment, I needed to create a good garden escape for myself, and luckily enough I had the space to build some raised beds. But if you don't have space for raised beds, you can do a lot of home gardening in containers. And I'll give you some ideas and show you a little bit about that. So over here, I started some greens earlier this spring. And so I just seeded some rows of lettuce and arugula and some radishes here. You can see that the arugula has started to go to seed. It's bolting, but you can still eat it. It just gets a little bit spicier. And then the lettuce here, I've already cut all of these once. And now you can see where I've come back and done a second cutting. That's the nice thing about doing greens from home, is that you can cut them and they'll come again, and you can get a couple cuttings off of them before they get too spicy or too bitter. And you don't need to have a bed like this in order to do that. All sorts of containers will work really well to grow all sorts of types of seeds. But window boxes are good for doing long lines if you have any of those kicking around. And here I'll show you, I just took a saucer even from a larger pot and I filled it with soil and I just made some lines in it. Real shallow lines. And I'll do another one right here to demonstrate. It's really easy, just a few inches apart. Make some lines, tap the soil down so it's got a nice firm little seed bed there. And then for lettuces, all you would do is just shake and sprinkle the seed all along those lines. You can do it pretty thick for lettuce if you're going to do it as the cut and come again kind rather than a head of lettuce. So I'm just being pretty generous in how I'm shaking it. I know it's hard to see because the lettuce seed is dark, but right there's a pretty good line of seed, and some of your seed packets will give you some information on the back about how dense to plant it. But then I would just cover the seed up gently. Doesn't have to be very deep at all because it's such small seed. And then you'll water that. And then you could fill this whole tray up with those lines and have a garden of lettuce greens for you to grow and then to eat. So there's all sorts of ways that you can garden in pots. If you're going to do something bigger like tomatoes, you would need a deeper pot because they need it for their roots. So you want something that's not as shallow. And if you don't have space for things like that, you can even just get a small pot like these, or here you have a bunch of sunflowers that are growing. You could get a pot like this, and you could just pick an herb that you like to grow, such as basil. And if you look over here, we have quite a few basil plants. You can easily do basil in a pot. And if you have other herbs that you like to grow with, maybe something like a sage or a mint or a rosemary, you could also do those in a pot really easily and just have them on your counter at home, making sure they get some light. So you have lots of options. There's so many health benefits from gardening at home. So when I garden, for me it is really a creative outlet. I get to plan it out, I get to tend to it, I watch the plants grow, I take care of them. You're outside, you're moving your body, you're getting fresh air, you're getting vitamin D from the sun, you're getting your hands in the soil, and all those things benefit us in so many ways and help us, give us all the things that we need to feel whole and balanced in the world. So we get grounded to the earth, we can be centered in ourselves as we're planting and taking care of plants. You get fresh air from being outside and in nature. And there's so many benefits to it. And then in addition, you get to eat what you've grown. So it doesn't take much. You can just grab some potting soil from your local hardware store. I like to use a little bit of compost too when I'm mixing up my soil. And then maybe some like fertilizer crumbles to add to some of those bigger plants like tomatoes partway through the season to give them a little boost. And you can start growing right here at your own home. So thanks everyone. Thanks everyone. Happy planting.